Hey kiddos, today we are going to make a pinch pot, okay? Now, if you were in the classroom, we would normally be using clay, okay? And we're gonna talk about the difference between clay and Model Magic here at the very end of the video. But first, I want you to grab your container of Model Magic from your supply kit, okay? And I want you to take your hands and I want you to roll your Model Magic into a ball, okay? So roll it into a ball. Now, after you've made it into a ball, I'll show you the next step. But first, I want to use a vocabulary term with you, okay? Another word for ball in the art world is sphere, okay? Sphere is a round ball, okay? All right, so after you've made your sphere, you're gonna take it, you're gonna set it down on the table. You're gonna take your two thumbs, put them together just like this, and you're gonna make a butterfly, okay? And after you've made your butterfly, you're gonna have your butterfly fly on down to its sphere. You're gonna place your thumbs straight down on top of the Model Magic and you're gonna push them in. Now you're not gonna push all the way through, you're just gonna push them in. So you should have two little holes, okay? Then you're gonna pinch, twist, pinch, twist, pinch, twist, okay? So I'm pinching and I'm twisting, and now I've made a little bowl, also known as a pinch pot. Now you want to make sure that the rim of the pinch pot is about as thick as one of your fingers. You also want to make sure it doesn't poke through on the bottom, okay? You shouldn't be able to see through your pinch pot. Now, when you've gotten this far, you can take a pencil and you can push designs into the pinch pot, okay? You do not have to do this. This is optional, but it is something you can do. You can also take the tip of the pencil and draw lines on the side like that, okay? So again, this is a pinch pot. Normally you would be making this out of clay. Now, Model Magic, it takes about 72 hours or 3 to 4 days to dry, okay, completely. Now, after it's dried completely, if you want, you can take paint and you can try painting the Model Magic. Now, if you ended up with with white Model Magic, it might be a little bit easier to paint than colored Model Magic, okay? But you can take the watercolor and you can try painting them. Now, watercolor is see-through, so it won't paint it the same way as some other paints, but it will add a little color to your piece. But that is optional and it is not a requirement. After you've made your pinch pot, with the help of your parents, I want you to take a picture of your pinch pot and upload it for your assignment, okay? Now, we're gonna talk about clay, okay? This is the clay that we use. It's a gray, low fire clay, okay? And clay, it's kind of cool. You can actually find clay in the ground. Not everywhere, okay? Sometimes you can dig and find clay, and sometimes you can dig and not find clay. But clay is a mixture of minerals and water, okay? That's what clay is. Now, you know something else that's made out of minerals? Rock, okay? So clay actually used to be rock, and then water pounded on that rock and seeped through the minerals, and it turned into clay. Now, only certain types of minerals, okay, turn into clay. So not all rocks will turn into clay, but depending on the type of minerals in the clay, clay can be different colors. Clay can be gray, it can be brown, it can be tan, it can be red, it can be orange. And we're working with a gray clay. Now, when this clay is fired in a special oven for clay called the kiln, this clay will actually turn white, okay? So it won't always be gray. And when we fire it in the kiln, all the water that was in that clay that makes it mushy and moldable does something called evaporate, okay? All the water is sucked out of the clay and it turns into a hard rock again. And when I say sucked out, I mean it doesn't really suck it out like that. It just does something called evaporation, where the water actually turns into tiny little molecules and goes out into the air, and you can't see them because they're so small, okay? Clay is something that you are going to work with every single year that you're at Stargate. So I always like to teach my students about clay because every year they learn a little bit more about clay and they become a little bit more experienced with clay until they become clay experts by 5th grade. When you all come back in person, we will be working with clay, okay? So that's pretty exciting. But in the meantime, we will be working with Model Magic, which is also really fun. Okay? If you have any questions, post them to the Google Classroom or email me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.